Hey guys, James in 9532 here. Today, we're going to be taking a look at my Railway Series Edward. So, as you can see, he looks very similar to the last time I showed him off. And that's because the last time was probably my favorite time I showed him off. I had a few gripes with that model, but ultimately, it was one of my better ones at the time. And I am proud to say that this Edward is just that Edward modified. The only differences between that Edward and this Edward is the cab, the height of the boiler, and the firebox. That's it. And the new paint job, of course, but everything else, build-wise, is the exact same. His face here. Yeah. If you don't know how I did that, I made it out of sheet of paper, painted it gray, drew the face on there, added white for the smile or eyes, depending on the engine. I did this for all my engines. And just, yeah, drew it on, glued it onto a piece of cardboard, and cut it out. So, anyway, let's get into the actual model. That isn't just a face. So, Edward here was made from a Molly chassis, which I do want to get another Molly, because I instantly regretted this as soon as I did it, but I don't so much regret it anymore because of how good it looks. But, yeah. So, I put pieces of cardboard around, because Molly's footplate had plenty of holes and stuff in it. So, just trying to fill it in, I put cardboard around it. Another difference between the old Railway Series Edward and this Railway Series Edward is that this side here has footplate. It's not just empty cavernous space here. I know this Edward doesn't have side rods like the last one, but I do plan to add those eventually. Or I don't know. I'm not 100% sure, because with Edward, I tried to give him like a really old-fashioned look. That's why he has the NW and the 2, like that, when every other engine just has their number on the tender, or the bunker. Or, well, you understand what I mean. It just has it on the normal places. So, Edward wasn't exactly, he doesn't have an exact paint color, precisely, because I took a little bit of Apple Barrel Gloss Light Blue and my Deco Art Blue shade, Ocean Blue shade, and mix them together with a little bit of white. I just mixed them together, and that's how I got Edward's paint color. One thing I do want to point out right now that I'll probably point out later is all my blue engines are different shades of blue. Like if I bring Thomas in here, he's not the same shade of blue as Edward. And neither is Donald or Douglas. No one of the blue engines are the same shade of blue. I did that because if blue was the NWR's livery, I thought, well, let's give the blue engines some individuality and give them all different shades of blue. Yeah. Like I said, Edward was just a very simple engine, considering half the engine was already built. The cab was just made out of sheet of cardboard. The firebox, I wasn't originally going to add this, but I'm kind of glad I did, because, again, it adds some individuality to some of the engines. Like Donald and Douglas, they just have curved boilers. Curved, basic, just boiler all the way through. Edward has a little bit standing out. Kind of similar to Gordon, but not quite, which I think gives him more individuality aside from his wheel arrangement. As you can see, I gave him weathering. A lot of weathering on the tender. I kind of emulated I kind of did that to Edward, but still gave him the basic coat of Mod Podge to kind of emulate the tender engine stew shunt kind of thing that Edward is. You know, he's not what every other big engine is like. For whatever reason, I gave him round windows instead of square ones. I don't know, I just think it looks cool on Edward. I love how massive his wheel arches are. I also bought a builder's plate right there. His cab is black. I do plan to add detail to Edward's cab, but I do want to do it to like Henry, James, Gordon, everyone else, just because I think cab detail is nice, and I like drawing it. But yeah, this little yellow piece up here is 3 yellow toothpicks painted. Edward's tender is just the basic Molly tender. I did red to outline all the other stuff along the bottom of the tender and kind of give it rounded inside corners. Again, to kind of emulate old-fashioned. For whatever reason, I brought this back on Edward here. Old-fashioned of my models, I suppose. I didn't paint this part silver. I don't know why, but yeah, same on the other side. I originally had dark red lining going across the top sections here, even in the front. One thing I don't like about Edward's tender is how the axle will bob left and right, so it goes from perfect, good straight to backwards, or left to right. But I did manage to do the red lining on the tanks, on the water tanks up here, this is actually from the old, this paint is the same paint from the old Edward that I did, the one you've seen most recently. Yeah, that's that Edward's paint, but you can't tell because of how heavily weathered it was. Yeah, the NO2 on his footplate. Some of the engines have couplers, some of them don't. I do want to make sure I have them all have couplers and consistent looks and stuff before I do anything with them, but yeah. So, that, guys, was my, this part up here. I painted that red because I thought it looked old-fashioned. Initially, actually, before I close this out, I do want to explain. Edward had red arch lining, like that, and then there was gold on the inside, and then the cab went just around that, and it was everywhere, and he looked too busy, but he did look old-fashioned. But the lines weren't thin enough, so I just had to anchor it and repainted them to whatever shade of blue that is. The dome is the, just clay. From the old Edward, actually. The old Edward was a good model, but he needed some major touch-ups, which I'm happy to say this Edward did very well. So yeah, guys, that's my Railway Series Edward. Hope you guys liked the video. So I guess I'll see you in the next video. Bye!